Hey, what's going on everyone? Axel here. So today I want to give my first impressions for Ravenloft, the new expansion. It's been, almost a week since Ravenloft's been out. I've only been able to go through the content for a couple days now, and I wanted to give my first impressions as far as what I think about it so far, if I think it's worth the money, am I enjoying it so far, what to expect if you're thinking about buying it and haven't played it yet, things like that. And I'll try to keep it very spoiler light. In fact, it kind of has to be because I haven't run through all the content yet. I've only run through a handful of quests. I have run around the adventure area a lot. I've tried to go through all the public areas. But anyways, here's what I think after just a few days of playing. Immediately, the first thing I noticed was that the adventure area is absolutely huge. I'm pretty sure it's bigger than the Stormhorns, but it's a huge, huge adventure area. Gave me a little bit of a Skyrim-esque feeling when I got to it, just in terms of how much where you can go and where you can explore, which is awesome. They did a really good job with the theme and the feel of this expansion. It actually feels like an expansion, if you know what I mean. Say when Menace of the Underdark first dropped, when you first went into Evening Star, it felt like you were in a different place. It felt like it was actually an expansion, actually an add-on to the game, like you're actually going to a different world, and you get that same experience with Ravenloft. It has a different feel from your standard adventure pack from the other areas of the game. If you're not aware, Ravenloft is a very dark, scary themed pack. It has a gothic theme, basically a European gothic theme, so there's vampires, a lot of dark areas, a lot of castles, things like that. But like I said, the adventure area was one thing that really popped out to me that was very different. There's a lot of, just in terms of space, there are 12 quests spread out throughout the adventure area so there's a lot of different places you can go. The actual terrain it's a lot of fog, a lot of forests. There's some big castles, big bridges, but it's definitely something that's cool to run around and see. I'm a bit disappointed that there's not more to do actually in that adventure area, because while it has the standard Slayer, Rares, Explorer type quests there that you would see in any typical adventure area, I was hoping they would do something more like, say, what they did with Epic Orchard. It's an adventure area where there's kind of little challenges, little puzzles, little cool different encounters. Also, they did this with the King's Forest, little encounters you could see throughout the adventure area. I was hoping they do more of that. They didn't, but you know, it's still a cool adventure area. It's definitely gonna be worth doing. Also, teleport options, in case you were wondering, you don't actually have to run through the actual adventure area to get to quests. There are teleport options. From what I've seen so far, there seems to be teleport options for just about every quest, if not every single quest. There are 3 different hubs in the adventure area, 3 main little town hubs, and you can teleport to each of those hubs from basically a travel guide that you see in the first town that's very close to the first inn that you walk into, first tavern you walk into when you zone into the area. And once you get to each of those zones, there's also another teleport NPC in each of those zones that will actually teleport you to each of the individual quest locations. As far as I can tell, I think there is that does exist for all of them, so you don't actually have to run through the adventure area. And while that's, a lot of people are going to like that, I personally don't know if I like it too much, just because if they're going to spend all this time to create this big illustrious adventure area, I want more of a reason to run through it, if that makes sense. So if you aren't aware, as I said, it's a gothic themed expansion. The main villain of this quest, of this area, is a human vampire named Strahd, a very powerful vampire. He's kind of the Lolth of this pack. If you remember, Lolth was the main villain of the Menace of the Underdark expansion. As I've mentioned just a minute ago, the pack has a great horror theme to it. I've only run a few of the quests, as I've said, but the ones I have run have been really creepy, and there's been a lot of throughout the adventure area and throughout the quest, there's a lot of little creepy touches added, like fog, and you'll hear like distant screams. There's a lot of really good voice work. All the DM work I've seen so far has been really good. a couple of the quests I've run. One of them was called Fresh Baked Dreams, which is a really creepy quest where you actually have to go investigate this little area. Basically, I think there's a little tower there and a little forest area, and there's a problem in this quest that there's children that have disappeared, and you later found out that they've disappeared because hags have captured them, killed them, and made their bodies into pies that they are actually selling. So that's a little creepy. There's also a quest called Death House, which has some really creepy DM work. Basically, in that quest, you have to find you basically come upon remains of a couple children, basically their bones, and you have to help them find their final resting place. And you hear a lot of good DM work, like creepy children's voices as they talk to you throughout the quest, the spirits of the dead children. So there's a lot of really creepy things like that, and there's a lot of really good work there. I like what they've done as far as the aesthetics of the area from what I've seen so far. And as I've seen, I've only seen, not even seen half the content yet, so this is still very early for me. But I can tell it's definitely, I would say, the creepiest area of the game for sure that I've ever seen. I can't remember any of the other areas of the game matching up to this in terms of quality, in terms of aesthetic, in terms of that horror atmosphere. It really does feel like kind of like it makes me feel like a 1930s horror movie, something like that, like a black and white like Dracula or werewolf film. That's kind of the vibe I get when I watch it or when I play it. What else do I want to say? Okay, sentient weapons is the big crafting system draw, and I really like what they've done with this. The sentient weapons system works a lot differently from your typical system. So let's think of something like Thunderforged or Legendary Green Steel. Basically how all those have worked and how pretty much the vast majority of crafting systems have worked in DDO is that you go to a quest or a raid, you grind that raid for materials, ingredients, you get enough of your ingredients, and you build and you can craft whatever you want to craft. They've gone away with that, thankfully, in the system. While there is grinding, of course, as there's going to be with any crafting system, it's quite different. The system works in basically what you're going to do to increase the power of your sentient weapon is you have to grind for named items. So any named item can be fed into the sentient weapons to increase their power. And the amount of XP you get from feeding weapons to your sentient weapons is based on the minimum level. So if you farm, I think level 28 to 30 weapons give you 10 times the base, I think the base minimum level of that item. They give you that much XP, so a minimum level 30 named item is going to give you 300 XP, and you're rewarded a lot less for lower ones. I think 21 to 27 gives you 5 times the base minimum level, 5 times that base minimum level of XP, and then under, I think 20 and under only gives you the base level XP. So it really incentivizes you to farm high level named item, which is good. I want an end game. That's what DDO has been lacking the past couple years. Has been, I think a lot of people have complained it's been too focused on reincarnation. So this is kind of the in-game draw, and there's a lot of other parts to the sentient weapon system. There's things called filigree. You know, you can farm to get other effects. There's set bonuses, things like that, and there's a lot of named items in this pack. There's a lot of named items you can also go for. There's 2 raids. I don't know if the second one's out yet, but they had to delay the second one for a patch. It might be out, I'm not sure, but there's 2 raids, I think 12 quests, so there's a lot of content there to grind, and it's good quality content. From what I've seen so far from the quests I've run, it's been different from quests like say the Assault on the Slave Lords or the Temple of Elemental Evil, in that they're not so mob heavy. When I run these quests, it doesn't feel as much of a slog, like it's just focused mainly on encouraging you to run a tune with high DPS, or focus on running trash killing builds like Warlock, bursting Warlocks, things like that. It seems like they're trying to do more to incentivize, I guess, more powerful single monsters, because I think they're trying to make melee a little bit more important in the game, and I think they might have had that in the back of their mind when they designed some of this content. And again, I've not seen most of it. I've only seen maybe a third of the content so far, so I've got a lot more to see. And I haven't run any of the raids yet, so I've got a lot more to see in terms of how I like those. This is not a review by any means, but as of right now, is it worth the $40 to you? I think it is. If you like DDO, if you enjoy playing DDO, if you play DDO somewhat regularly, I think you're at least going to want to spend the $40 for the standard edition. Now, I'm not sure if the $80 collector's edition and I think what the $130 Ultimate Fan Bundle is going to be worth it to you. That's kind of up to you to decide. I know this stuff will be offered for points in March, so if you're not super into the in-game stuff and you're into TRing, you might want to wait until March. But if you're really a big fan of DDO at all, and if you play this game regularly, I think you're gonna want to go ahead and buy it, at least the standard edition. And even though $40 is kind of a higher price tag, I don't think that's too much. It's not. I don't think you're getting as much as you got with, say, the Menace of the Underdark expansion for your money, but I still think it's an okay deal. I know there's been some people upset about certain things that are kind of not available until March, and like VIP having to buy a bundle with the new race already included, which they already get for VIP and subscription, things like that. But so far, and I'm not all the way through the content yet. I mean, if maybe the raids aren't very good, I don't know. Maybe some of the quests I haven't run yet aren't very good, I don't know. Maybe at the end I won't like it. But as of right now, it looks like it's worth the $40. It looks like it's worth spending your money for, because what I really was grading this expansion on, what I'm really looking for as I kind of rate it, is the quality there. Because when you make an expansion and you ask players to pay more, and VIPs are already playing a sub, paying for a subscription to pay more, I expect as a player to see the quality of content that's higher than what we normally get with a normal adventure pack. Because it's an expansion, it should be premium content because they're asking for a premium price. And so far, it looks like they've done that. It looks like it is premium content. For sure, from the quests I've run so far, they're really good. So it looks optimistic to me, guys. I will probably do a review at some point after I've run the content a lot, but it probably won't be for quite a while if I do a review. But yeah, guys, if you've bought Ravenloft yet, or if you've run it a lot or been running the quests and maybe the raids, adventure areas, whatever, comment below, let me know what you think. Be interested in hearing that. But yeah, so far it looks good for me. Good job, devs, from what I've seen so far, and I'm glad to be back with DDO, and I'm glad to be playing it. So yeah, guys, comment below. I will see you next time for another video. Have a good one. Take care.